Let me bang, I man. Do let you bang. Hey, let me bang you, man. I let you bang. I let you bang. Greetings, marriage and virgins.
Go for Jesus. No for gay Jesus, people.
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for your favorite mixed martial arts podcast. Recording out of Los Angeles, California, it's MMA Roasted with Adam Hunter.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
Hey, everyone, welcome to a brand new MMA Roasted Podcast. I'm here with Greg Romero Wilson.
What up, buddy?
Show got picked up for a second season. Congratulations, third season. Your show.
Which show?
The show you're on with Cedric, the entertainer.
Oh, well, I mean, it got The Neighborhood. It's not really my show. I have a small recurring role on it. That's true, but it did just get picked up for its fourth season, actually.
Fourth season, even better. So that's
okay.
Great. That's great news, man. If the show,
yeah, but I didn't feel like saying it's overstating it. Oh, man,
I think they'd be happy that you're proud of the show and saying.
But I am proud of the show, and it's exciting doing it. In fact, I shot with a legend, another legend besides Cedric. Another legend was the other guest star, and I'm not ready. I can't reveal it just yet, but it's pretty phenomenal.
That's great, man. Well, good for you. You deserve it. So
thank you, brother.
Awesome. I had a rough week, man. Holy shit. So if you guys follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you obviously know my dog passed away. When was it? On Friday. That was the roughest. Like Thursday night, he was just, he woke up. I heard him crying. Then he had like a seizure again. I picked him up. He was like dead weight, puked. Went to the bathroom, and then I got him back, and then he was having more and more seizures. It was brutal. I mean, it was brutal. But I said goodbye. My wife drove him to the vet, which I felt bad about, but I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. No,
I think like I told you, the other day. I mean, first of all, obviously, my condolences. I know it's a very tough time. Yeah, I know it's amazing how attached you are to that dog. I don't know why that is so surprising, but your bond with it is maybe because it's deeper than every other relationship I've seen you had in your life except your wife. So, but I mean, it's amazing. And I know that if you wouldn't have taken him, you wouldn't have done.
They would have said, "Well, we could do a couple things here and there." It just would have prolonged it. He was in so much pain.
Totally, because you already did that. You did like the other week. You did spend like $1,500, and it's so. Unfortunately, it was the absolute right thing to do, and I commend your wife for stepping up. And this dog was so tough. What had to be done.
The dog was so tough. They had to give it 2 shots because they gave it a shot to put it down. It was still alive. That's how tough this dog was. So I wrote this thing, I actually was like, because people always write about their dog on Facebook and Instagram, but it's just like, it's always sad, it's always like sad. So I'm like, I'm going to make mine, I don't know, maybe sad, but also kind of funny because he was such a character. So I wrote I said, listen, RIP to my best friend, Miles, made me incredibly happy, inspired me through your tenacity, your loyalty, your strength. Even though I'm going to miss you so much, even though you bit me, my dad, my wife, my dog, my stepmom, Greg Wilson, you were on the list.
I saw that. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mayhem Miller, Vince Pichel, the KTO dog, the guy at the elevator. The cleaning lady, Sandra, Bree's friend, Daisy, Stephanie. I love you so much. You're the most loyal friend I ever had, right? So I write that. And people were like, you made me laugh and cry at the same time, But then girls that I slept with, either I had one night stands or
oh boy.
So then they all write, he never bit me. Not all, but a couple of them, a couple porn stars were like, but now my wife has to do that. So even in the afterlife, he's still
he still bit you.
Right, he still bit me, right, exactly. And you couldn't just leave it at that. You had to throw in he never bit me when I slept at your place. And I'm just like, And then my wife's like, Adam, Miles left us a present before he left. And I'm like, what? And he shit in the corner, actually right next to the keypad. So we cleaned it up one last time together.
One last one on the way out.
It was a moment that we had together cleaning it up.
So you got like a champ right there.
I was crying all week. And I actually apologized to my wife because I'm like, I don't cry very often. I cried like when my stepmom died because she was my mom. And then I cried.
Right.
And then I cried when a kid that I coached wrestling won a match because he had just been getting the shit beaten out of him the entire season. I just like teared of joy. And then I apologized to my wife. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm such a mess. And she's like, no, you told me you would choose him over me. I'm like, that's not what I'm like, that's not what I said. Like,
so now that paints this whole thing in a whole different light. She was like, don't worry, I'll take him.
Right. So then I said, that's not what I said.
You stay here, darling. I will take him myself.
No, what happened was I said to her, he was here first. I said, he was here first. And I said, if you really loved me, you wouldn't make me make that decision. You know, because I mean, I was not going to choose him over. I wasn't choosing either. They were both going to stay. You know. Yeah,
absolutely.
So there was one time. I mean, that list of people he bit, Mayhem deserved it. Mayhem threw a firework at him, like a little thing. I was at Mayhem's party, and he took like one of those little caps that like
little poppers. Yeah.
So he threw it at him, and then hit Miles in the face. So I got up to leave, and I got up to leave. This is back when Mayhem was in this crazy. I can't say back. I mean, so then so I'm at the party, and he's like, why are you leaving? And I'm like, because you threw something at my dog. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, little doggy. My dog bit him 3 times. Like, oh. And then like,
he had the fastest. I mean, you didn't see, because there was no build-up. There was no snarling. There was no, I'm going to get you. He just go, wham, and you were like, whoa. I mean, because when he snapped at me, remember Vince was laughing his ass off at me for like an hour because I went to pet him you couldn't pet him from behind his head. And I would have pet him, and he just, wham, and I was like, and I screamed just like that. Like a fucking, Brad clutched the pearls. And Vince just was like, oh my God, you fucking screamed so bad. I'm like, it was out of nowhere.
That was the happiest I've ever seen Vince Pichel, by the way. Like, he was laughing. Yeah. You getting bit by the dog was like, he even wrote like, the bite was well worth it because he bit Vince too. And then there was one time a girl slept over and she gave me like, we slept together, she blew me. And then she tried to kiss my dog. I went to go to the bathroom and he bit her because he was like, I'm not tasting Adam semen. You know, like, so I can't really.
It's like, I watched the whole thing. I was here the whole time. Don't kiss me. Ugh, filthy.
Yeah.
Dumpster mouth.
Fucking style bender. By the way, okay, so an MMA, there's a video of style bender, by the way. Of him eating something and then spitting it into his dog's mouth, which is gross. But there's another video of him with his dog going, I'm going to rescue this dog. What a great dog. And he grabs his dog's penis and goes like this. Like, I just like grabbed it, but like it was a 2-second. It wasn't like he like jerked it off, but he still grabbed the dog's cock, which I find inappropriate. I don't know. I'm just not into grabbing dogs' penises. I don't.
I feel like that doesn't even have to be said. I feel you have to prove that you do for that to not be true about you, which unfortunately now that, it's like the old joke. It's like, do they say I'm, Leonid the plumber or Leonid the farmer? No, they say you fuck one goat and you're fucking, okay. So you only have to grab one dog cock before you become Adesanya, the dog cock catcher.
I don't get it. I don't understand what. It's like, I think Joe Budden did that too. I don't understand what guys are with like dogs and cocks.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, man. Sometimes you're just up for fucking too long.
So, but one of the hardest things I was telling my daughter what happened to the dog because she's like, where's Miles? So, and like, here's the thing. I told my wife. My wife's like, should we get another dog? I'm like, we're getting a new house in like 3 weeks. We're buying our first house.
Do that first, yeah.
We're buying our first house,
That's beautiful.
And you get a puppy or something, it's going to go everywhere. It's going to rip up it's going to chew everything. Let's get the dog. You know what? Miles we haven't even buried him yet. I don't want to get a brand new dog. It's a lot of work. We have a baby, we can't go on vacation. So I'm like, no, not for a while. We have 3 cats and a bunny. Right. So then my daughter is like, Daddy, where's Miles? And I didn't know what to say. Like my wife, my wife told him she's with Jesus, tried to explain it. I said, how Miles was sick? He's not sick anymore. He's with other dogs who used to be sick, and now they're not sick because they're in a place where they're healthy. I tried to kind of sort of
right.
And then she just looked. Is he coming back? And I said, no. She burst into tears, like just And I'm like, it's okay. We'll get another dog. We'll get a new dog. like
that lasted.
Within 3 seconds, I was like looking at the dogs with, you want this one? You want this one? Like,
Yeah.
Like, fuck, dude. I would never be a good like terrorist. I would fold under pressure.
Oh, me too. I can't. Any physical pain of it. You don't even have to actually inflict the pain. You could just threaten the pain. Like, show me the tool, and I'll be like, I'll tell you anything you want to know. Like,
I don't know.
I'd be the worst.
I could take, but having my daughter cry like that, like, I just wanted her to, man,
Yeah.
that was the hardest thing. And then so now,
Well, and that's what being a dad's all about, you know.
so
Sorry,
now
I got something in my teeth. I'm all digging in my face.
so we got this bunny, right? So I told you about the bunny at the park,
Yeah. I came
now
up to
all
you
of
and
a
you
sudden,
said,
so my wife walks by with these like furry little like slippers, right? And I don't know if the bunny thinks it's like another bunny or there's like twins.
"Oh boy."
Because he hops, like, we thought it was a girl till all of a sudden we saw his little penis. So he starts humping the slippers, right? Like, we let him out of the cage. He goes he finds the closet and he goes to work on the slippers. Well, now he's moved up to my wife's leg. Like, everywhere this bunny, like, the bunny is trying to fuck my wife's leg. For, like, everywhere.
Now, even without the slippers, or
the slipper. I don't know.
Now he's just like, that's where I'm going.
Maybe he like, that's where the slipper's been or whatever. But he like came on the floor. There was like bunny jizz on the floor in the middle of my fucking, like.
Is it like the Cadbury egg cream, or
Kind of
it
is
like
like that. Actually, it's sort of like a weird. I'm like, this is what happened. Like, I went from having like crazy threesomes to like cleaning up bunny jizz in my fucking house, dude. And like, so that was the thing. And then I took my daughter to a birthday party Sunday, right? And it was just, it was a nice house, beautiful family, blah, blah, blah. And the woman was like, hey, we have like, we're going to have like a petting zoo at the party, but it's going to be like reptiles and snakes and this and that. So I'm like, all right, that's a little, the kid's 3. The kid just turned 3, right? So first they're having fun. They have a little guy with a guitar. They're all dancing. They're like, hey, then this woman comes in and there's a 2-year-old from Australia there and a bunch of little kids. She's like, hey, everybody, here's a frog. And it's taking out Tupperware. And the Tupperware is this huge bullfrog, which is taking up the whole thing. And she's like, hey, what do bullfrogs eat? And the kids are like, flies. And she's like, no, bullfrogs don't eat flies. This one eats birds and mice and other frogs. Now the kids are crying. Why would we just take the flies, right?
Yeah, why would you exactly? This is unnecessary.
Then she even got this turtle that's like fucking this big, right? And she goes, guys, this is the turtle. He's really sweet, but just don't put your hand next to his head because he'll eat off your finger, right? I'm like, you do realize these kids are 1 and 2 and 3. So right away, the fucking Australian kid, this must be like Crocodile Dundee or whatever, the crocodile hunter's kid or something, comes over and puts his hand right next to the fucking turtle's face, right? Like the turtle, like I swear I almost witnessed a murder scene. Like the kid starts crying, yeah.
Wait, did the turtle bite his finger?
No, it ran away. It kind of went for it, and then it ran away. And then hid in the corner because it was like shamed and pissed off and sad. But I'm like, whose idea? Like, I don't know. I don't think that like reptiles and snakes.
Okay, so wait a minute. This is like a professional person they hired
to
bring reptiles to show the kids at the party. Okay, this is just some weirdo neighbor. It's like, hey kids, you want to see something cool? And they just start
like
bringing
a
up
reptile. But the person comes with like fucking humongous turtles and says that you can't tell a 2-year-old not to put your hand there. It's exactly what the kid's gonna do. And especially if he's from Australia, and
some might call that natural selection. If you're going to tell a kid don't do that, it could kill you. And then that's the first thing he does. Well, hey, maybe this is going to be a short trip around the sun for him.
Man. And then it was like, and then the bulldog is like eats kids. I mean, the kids start crying. It was like Fear Factor for children. Like nobody wanted this. I mean, the parents were holding the snakes and stuff, but so that was my son.
I would not have. Although you're right about that kid. I mean, that kid is obviously, got a taste for it, and he's going to be some kind of ex-gamer or crocodile hunter or some crazy shit.
And now my kid's whole thing now is like 2 things. She goes, Daddy, are you happy? Like and I'm like, yes, I'm happy because I'm with you. But like 5 a.m, I hear like screaming from her bed. I run in. I'm like, baby, okay? Daddy, are you happy? I'm like, I was when I was sleeping.
Yeah.
Now, like that, and then I do this thing where
Now, do you have the balls to go, not right now, do you? Or are you like, yes, I'm happy. I am happy. What's the...
Well, Bree was yelling at me earlier. My wife was yelling at me, and she goes, "Mom, are you happy?" And I said, "No." So I did answer her.
You did it for your wife.
Yeah, for my wife. And then she really wasn't happy after.
Yeah.
And then
really
like I do this thing where
you got this husband dad thing down pat.
Yeah, down in the grave. And then fucking I always find money in her ear. Like I was like, "Hey, I found something in your ear." It's like a call, and she puts in the piggy bank. And then I'm like, "She's the only one in the family who saves money." And I do that whole. And so we go to like so my wife drives to like some parking garage, and they were like, "Oh, it's like $6 to pay." My wife didn't have cash on her. I didn't take credit card. And then my daughter goes, "I have money in my ear. It's in my ear."
And you're like, that's how do I not do the trick now? Oh.
Yeah, it was like crazy. So, all right, fights. We're waiting for McCorkle and Don Frye to come. I don't know if Don Frye knows what decade it is. So Rosenstruck versus Gain, that fight, it looked like a glorified sparring match. It didn't have, it looked like neither of them really, I mean, Gain won. He looked good, I guess.
Here's the thing. No heavyweight fight should ever go 5 rounds. Okay? They're heavyweights. You're not technical fighters. Although Gain, whatever, he is the most technical heavyweight fighter I think I've ever seen, of a true heavyweight, not a light heavyweight that went up to heavyweight, of a true big dude, definitely the best technical fighter I think we've seen. But yes, it was more like a practice match, like they didn't want to engage.
Yeah, it looked like they both didn't want to lose, and because of that, like the fans lost. Like I even wrote, like, "Oh, Dr. Fauci won," because these guys were distancing the entire time. I actually wrote, that fight was so bad the UFC cut Sean Shelby, who's the matchmaker, right? I put that on.
Oh, is that right? Yeah.
My Instagram, and then Mick Maynard is also the matchmaker, and he's like, "Ha ha ha, fuck you, I did that fight." So I got heckled by the matchmaker.
That's awesome.
But yeah, the other fight. So Ankalia versus Krillov. This kid Ankalia is going to be a problem for everybody. He's 15-1, but that one loss was to a guy he was winning. This guy Paul Craig, which is the Bear Jew. That's his name, the Bear Jew.
Right. I think it's. I know that guy.
From Glorious Bastards. I think that's what he took.
Yeah, Glorious Bastards. That's right.
But he beat the living shit out of this guy. It was like 10-8. Then he got triangled with like 4 seconds left and like either went out or tapped. And I think that was probably the best thing that happened in his career in a way, because he lost, but not really. You lose like that, you're like, yeah, you technically lost, but you won, what is it? Like 14 minutes and 59 seconds of the fight. You just sort of got caught. It wasn't like you got dominated. You just kind of a wake up call. But that kid's going to be a problem for anybody. I just think that he's just that guy. He's got the wrestling, got the striking. Krillov's a good fighter, and it's a hard guy to look good against, because that guy's also
Krillov was okay for like the first 2 rounds, but towards the third, it was sort of like a race where the distance just grew to where Ankalia was just clearly much better and beating him up pretty good there in the third round.
I think Don Frye joined us. How are you, Don? Awesome. Okay. And then,
did you mute him again?
No, he just left.
Oh.
That might be his best appearance, actually. So
now we know how his wives felt. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding, Don Frye.
So Munoz versus Pedro Munoz versus Rivera. That was a great fight. That was a really good fight. Very evenly matched guys that were going at. And what bothered me about it was they were like just anointing it to Munoz, the announcers, the whole time going, "Oh yeah," and I was like, Rivera's had some pretty good rounds here. Although I think he did lose unanimously like all 3 rounds. But I was surprised. I thought he was much closer than that. That was one of those fights where and especially in the last minute, he really went for it. Yeah. There was a fight, I think it was against Petra Yan, that he hurt him, and he's always great when there's a minute left. you almost wish that he would just do what he does when there's a minute left, when there's like 4 minutes left.
But that must mean that he knows he's going to gas.
Yeah, or he just says, fuck it. But I like the way he fights because he's just like, fuck it. If I'm going to lose, I'm going to lose big. And it was a great fight. They're 1-1. I want to see the third one. But it's probably, I don't know if it's going to happen. But Jimmy Rivera, I don't think his stock went down in that fight at all. I think
I thought it was a much closer fight than the scorecards wound up being, but I really did. And the way the announcers were like, Munoz has got this. I mean, they were really up his ass. It was like, come on, guys. Jimmy Rivera's doing a pretty fucking good job there.
I agree with that. Now, Alex Hernandez thought he won against Thiago Moises. I don't understand. Like, he definitely lost that fight. I mean, it was close. He didn't get, like, fucking shellacked. But he posts on Instagram, if you watch the fight with the announcers off, I won 2 out of 3. I'm like, yeah, if you watch it with, like, the TV totally off, you won all of them. But, I mean, I don't see how that's the case. And I like Alex Hernandez. He's been on the show, and I hope he doesn't get mad at me for saying that. I just, honestly, if I had to be honest, I don't think he won that fight.
I don't think he did either. And it was weird that he was being so dramatic about it because it didn't feel that close. It certainly wasn't a robbery, and it wasn't even a split decision. So, I mean, it's not like you could – but he really seemed – immediately was like, I can't, like, what? And it's like, dude, you got pretty good.
Maybe it's one of those things where when with the crowd not there, you don't see how the other person is like hitting you. So maybe because like there's nobody there. Like maybe if the crowd,
right, you can't hear the cheering and letting you know. I'm getting.
Maybe it's one of those cases where that like, he didn't see that he was getting beat as bad as he did. Don Frye, speaking of someone getting beat, your Wi-Fi. How are you, man?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. They told me that to call. The number didn't match up, so I figured you didn't want me on here today. Give me a fake number.
I always want you on the show. I would not give you the number if I didn't want you on the show.
Exactly.
You're one of the best fighters of all time. I am lucky to have you on the show. That being said, I do wish you would watch the fights because we do talk about the fights, and you not watching the fights does make it kind of hard to talk to somebody who didn't watch a fight about a fight.
So, were the fights worth watching?
Some of them. Some of them were. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not sure if a good tactic is to not watch it and then assume they weren't worth watching. But
why do I want to put my boots on and saddle up my horse right into town?
Well, I mean, you could just.
He makes a good point.
But you could just pay the $5 a month for the ESPN Plus and just watch it that way, or watch it on your. I can even give you. I'll even give you my ESPN code to watch it there. Right.
The login.
So the login info. You could watch it that way.
I'll have to think about that one. I'll have to see if I have ESPN on my outfit first, because I haven't watched anything on ESPN for a couple of years now. Since they all started, nobody stood for national anthem, and they endorsed that. So
yeah, I hear you.
Understood.
But I'm not sure if the UFC takes that. I'm not sure if they really. I think they would stand. It seems like Dana speaking at the Trump convention, and there are enough fighters that I think are on the other side of, or on your side of politics, where I wouldn't get mad at it. I wouldn't take it out on the UFC because you don't like ESPN.
That's true.
But I hear you. There's a lot of crackling. Where are you, by a fire or something? Are you roasting marshmallows?
No, that's my bulldog. She's sitting here eating lunch with me, so she's a little bit on the noisy side.
It sounds like fireworks. Right, Greg? Do you hear that? The cracking?
Yeah. It's just some kind of digital crackling from, the signal of some kind. What are you gonna do? You know what? I'll take the crackling over the echoing any day of the week.
Okay. All right. Well, All right, got it. I feel like we're okay. So if like an F, we're at like a D now. We haven't got
right. We've upgraded.
We've upgraded. All right, so Bruce Leroy. I felt bad because I really wanted the other guy to win. I don't really know Bruce Leroy. The other guy I like, but I feel like he kind of got outclassed. Bruce Leroy, it's hard to fight athletic karate guys. It's just hard, man. I mean, it's hard to get guys like that in your gym, I think. And Bruce Leroy is so unorthodox. And so is Kevin Crooms. But it seems like he just had a bad night. I think that, it
He also seemed like he gassed out pretty early too, though. Like towards that third round, he looked really tired. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're right. I mean, Bruce Leroy beats everyone who he should beat. Like he's the guy. Anytime he's the favorite, he wins a fight, pretty much. And then when he steps up, but he's won 4 in a row. Who knows? Sometimes it takes people longer. He's had like 20 UFC fights. I remember him on The Ultimate Fighter. That's how I remember him back in the day. And just sometimes it takes a long time to kind of find your groove. So other times,
I think he was one of those guys that had such tremendous like natural athleticism that his discipline in knowing all the various aspects wasn't great. He was relying on that athleticism. Yeah. And that eventually ran out, and he had to get better, and he is getting better, and I think you see that now.
Right. Speaking of which, Alexis Davis, Pizza Mazzo, I'm happy because she's come to my show. Davis. She's kind of a hottie, like undercover hottie. Like you don't see it, but when you see her in person, you're like, damn. And she's Alexis Davis from Canada. She's like a mom. It looked like a mom beat up her stepdaughter. It had that fight feel, or like the cougar was like, not in this fucking house.
Totally, and she outclassed her all day long.
Yeah. And then Ronnie Lawrence looked fucking great against Vince Cachero. All right, so let's talk about MMA news because Don could chip in on that one. So on the undercard of Ben Askren versus Jake Paul, Frank Mir is fighting Antonio Tarver. I don't even know how I feel about this. Obviously, I want Frank Mir to win. I like Frank Mir. Antonio Tarver was a world champion boxer. I mean, he beat Roy Jones. I think he beat Roy Jones twice, actually. I don't know how this is going to go. They both got popped for steroids back in the day. And Frank Mir's been more active. But, wow, this one's going to be tough. What do you think, Don Frye?
Well, I hope he's getting paid a lot. I hope he's got a good mouthpiece, and good ophthalmologist because he might lose a couple teeth and 1 or 2 eyeballs. So you may want to invest in a seeing eye dog.
Yeah, no, I mean, I mean, Frank Mir just likes challenging himself, so hats off to him. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's ever fought a pro boxer.
He should challenge himself to losing about 40 pounds.
Well, I don't think he's ever fought a boxing match before. Like, I literally don't think he's ever had an actual boxing match before. So for him to just then go into fighting a guy who was a former world champion is insane. I mean, in boxing, it's not like they're fighting in like bare knuckle boxing where you could at least maybe then go, all right, maybe, or they're boxing. He's boxing a guy, Antonio Tarver. Granted, he outweighs him by probably 40 pounds. But I don't know if that helps in this case. Frank Mir, is there? I mean, Don Frye, is there?
I think Frank outweighs everybody by 40 pounds.
Don Frye, have you ever trained with Frank Mir?
Have I what?
Have you ever trained with Frank?
No. But I like Frank. Frank's a good guy. I'm just still pissed at him for riding a motorcycle on the Vegas Strip when he's world champion and screwed up his opportunity to be the best heavyweight UFC ever had, So, that was extremely stupid.
Hey,
I didn't even know about this. What are we talking about? Did he get in an accident? Is that what happened?
Back in the day, he was.
Yeah, like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, it was a long time ago. But he came back.
Back when he was world champion. Back when he's world champion, he buys a motorcycle, goes riding on the strip, and gets hit and ruins his shoulder.
Yeah. God damn.
There went his opportunity to be the best heavyweight UFC ever had.
Hey, Don, is there any way we could get you on the podcast without all the crackling? Is there any place in your house you have better service?
I have no idea if I do or not.
I know Greg doesn't
I'll
bother
go in
you.
my bedroom. I'll go in my bedroom here in a minute.
I'm gonna get like 100 fucking people hitting me up saying you got to get down for this. Is like it's like you're driving.
Yes, but they hit you up with that every single week. I mean,
I know.
When are you going to do it? What are we going to do? You have to solve the problem there, Adam.
Yeah, I know. So I'm telling him to go in a better room.
Do you really think that's it, though? I mean,
what do you? I mean,
maybe it's helping. I don't know.
I mean, he's calling him from his
Well,
phone.
maybe he has to quit eating a bowl of Cracker Jacks. You know, shit.
Now, does your girlfriend have a phone? Does your girlfriend have a phone in the house? All right. Fuck.
Way to go. Way to send him into the other room. See what you did?
What?
This is what you get now.
This is what I get. Look, I'm just trying to
the whole focus of your life should be solving Don Frye's internet problems. The guy is, he's the sizzle on the steak here. We got to have him.
I think that there's like a lot of problems, and the internet is just an offset of other problems,
Yeah. So you got to get him a better phone.
Yeah.
You got to send him a better phone, preloaded with the right program, with the right apps, and your password for fucking ESPN Plus, and just have it activated for him. And just send it to him.
I literally will just join on my wife's thing, ESPN, and give him I even pay $5 a month for his ESPN.
There you go.
Give a shit about that. It's just the phone thing is just like that could be expensive. Pay for someone's new Wi-Fi. They have to install it. It's a whole fucking thing. But I hear you. All right. So
if anyone listening lives in Arizona and has a solution for this, if you happen to work for, I don't know, an internet company provider, maybe Spectrum or AT&T Uverse, can hook us up, please reach out to the podcast.
All right. So also, I don't know if you followed the Chimaev news, right? So yesterday, I guess Chimaev got COVID, like a really bad strain of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And he retired. He said he's retiring. Now, here's a guy that had I think he's had 3 fights so far, but he's looked amazing. I mean, they're
total dominator. Yeah, they were calling him, Khabib 2.0.
Yeah.
Also because he looks just like him, but I mean, he's been dominating in the same way.
So this is what he writes. He goes, I want to say thanks to everyone for the support in my path in the sport. I think I'm done. Yes, I know I didn't take the belt, but this is not the most important victory in my life. It may upset you, but my heart and body tell me everything. I want to say thank you to my team, All-Star Sweden, and thank you to the UFC, right? So he writes that, and now outpouring of people. Dana White had a different tune. He's like, so the Dana says, when he got here, the doctors took care of him. They put him on prednisone, which is a nasty fucking steroid. I think my dog was on that for real.
Yeah,
White told MMA Junkie. So he's on prednisone. He's supposed to be taking this thing and chilling, right? And letting himself recover. He went in and fucking trained today. Felt like shit. Got super emotional and posted that. You're not supposed to be training, but the guy's a savage. He wants to fight like every fucking weekend. And now he can't even train. So got emotional and post that. But he ain't quitting.
Well, I'm glad he posted that because he sees what's really going on. I mean, anybody could see that he's getting, you know what I mean? This thing, what it does to you, what it does to your brain. I mean, it affects everybody. Some people it really, it fucks them up psychologically and emotionally. And I just think that, you gotta, I think he saw that. He could see that, knew this was, and he's lucky that Dana White sees that this is an emotional post and that you're going to regret this in like 5 days. So I'm glad that he acknowledged it the way he did. That's actually, I mean, I agree with him.
Dana might have the hardest job in the world. I mean, can you imagine this guy comes, you fly him in, and then he quits, and then you got to tell everybody he's not quitting. And this guy's a fucking savage, like a national champion wrestler who grew up with that.
I think strip club owner manager is probably still harder.
No, man.
Dude, if you got, you got to imagine the only thing worse than trying to herd fucking fighters has got to be herding strippers all day.
Yeah. I mean, right. Well, guess who's back? He's back. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? I got some good news. 3 title fights are taking place this weekend during UFC 259 in Las Vegas. This is a can't miss event. And DraftKings, the official daily fantasy partner of UFC, is giving you a shot at huge cash prizes. For this weekend's fight, DraftKings is offering all players a shot at millions of dollars total prizes. Yes, millions of dollars in total prizes. If you haven't tried it yet, Fantasy MMA is easy to play. Just pick 6 fighters, stay underneath the salary cap, and pile up points for advances, takedowns, and more. There is no better way to put your MMA knowledge to the test than to compete for a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. Plus, don't forget about basketball and hockey, where DraftKings has even more money up for grabs throughout the week. DraftKings is safe, it's secure, and reliable. Okay, you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Here's the call to action. Download the DraftKings app now. Use promo code ROASTED to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes throughout the week. That's promo code ROASTED to get a shot at millions of dollars in total prizes. Only at DraftKings. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. All right, guys, come on back. Done.
Yes.
Perfect.
There he is.
This is
Yes.
perfect. This is perfect.
Now I'm back.
This is great.
Are you on the roof? Are you holding a wire hanger as an antenna?
Greg Frye, where are you right now? Greg Frye, you're getting great service. Where are you?
I'm on top of an oil derrick in the middle of West Texas.
Wow. Well, it's working. It's working. Great job.
I just came up here. I thought it was a bathroom. I had to take a dump, and then I just kept climbing. I didn't know where the fuck I was.
Well, you did great. So Don, have you heard of this guy Chimaev?
What?
Have you heard of this guy named Khamzat Chimaev?
No.
All right. So he's a guy. He's from Dagestan, and they're calling him Khabib 2.0. He grew up in Sweden, but he's got like amazing wrestling. He's murdered everybody. He knocked out the last guy, Gerald Mearshart, in like 18 seconds. He just looks like he hasn't lost 10 seconds of any fight so far. Well,
Wow.
he got COVID and he retired. So what he posted was that something wrong with his lungs. He said, "I want to say thanks to everyone in the sport and my path. I think I'm done. Yes, I know I didn't take the belt, but this is not the most important victory in my life. It may upset you, but my heart and body tell me everything. I want to say a huge thank you to my team, right? I want to say thank you, UFC." So then Dana White says, "Not so fast." He goes, "Look, when he got here, the doctors took care of him. They put him on prednisone, which is a nasty fucking steroid. So he's on prednisone. He's supposed to be taking this thing and chilling and relaxing and letting himself recover. He went in and fucking trained today, felt like shit, got super emotional and posted that. He's not supposed to be training, but, this guy's a fucking savage. He wants to fight like every fucking weekend, and now he can't even train. He got emotional and posted that, but he ain't quitting." What are your thoughts on this, Don?
Over emotional is the term. Jeez Louise. I mean, would he be able to pass a steroid test with that being that emotional?
It's actually a good point. If they put him on this steroid, he might not fucking pass the test now, right? I mean, they might say he's got prednisone in his body, right? I mean,
that's the one treatment they really use is steroids, to kind of just boost your system.
Yeah, but that's why anabolic steroid, though. I love that prednisone. That's the only thing that allowed me to walk a couple of years back. Man, I was toast. And man, they gave me some of that, and I could walk. I loved it. But
I literally have that in my kitchen. My fucking dog was on that. I have like a whole jar of it in my kitchen.
Yeah, you can only stay on that for about a week, and then it starts having really serious side.
What were some of the side effects? He was doing so good. So Don just bailed out. I guess the prednisone wore off.
Listen, you can get a nice clear connection, but you can't have it for very long.
That was an amazing connection.
Finally really did. No echo, no crackle. I mean, I don't know where he went, but it was working. But obviously, you don't get to.
That was the best one we had so far. All right, so Costa and Izzy, right? So
Yeah.
Israel is fighting this weekend against Jan Blachowicz or
Blachowicz. Yeah.
So Costa, Paulo Costa, who lost to Izzy, he said that the reason he lost. Okay, actually, I want to tell Don about this. Don.
Okay.
Hello, Don.
Yeah, I don't know what.
All right.
Hey, what were some of the side effects of that steroid?
I didn't have any side effects, and they say it's pretty nasty, So, I mean, I didn't care what they were because it allowed me to walk, So,
yeah.
And so I didn't care. Shit. Yeah, I guess it's pretty nasty.
Dude, I heard Don. I remember.
When you're a Frye, you don't get side effects. You give them. Prednisone.
That's it, baby.
Prednisone hasn't been the same since I was taking it.
Don, I remember going to Justin Fortune's gym in LA, and you were training there. And there was a guy you were training with. I think the guy was from like Sweden or Finland. He trained with back at the Gracies back in the day. And he told me that you were training there with like a broken back. Basically, your back was completely fucked up, and you were still training every day. Is this true? Don? Hello?
Again, good connection. Doesn't last long. Very good.
Oh, my God. All right. Don left. All right. So Costa said that he drank he drank a bottle of wine before the fight to help him sleep, and he was hungover, and that's why he performed so bad. Look, it's 5 months.
Nobody cares.
I mean, it's 5 months later. Also, why are you drinking a bottle of wine to help you sleep? I mean, how much wine? A bottle to sleep? That's a lot of wine. You're fighting the next day. Like, maybe
exactly. Like, these are all your choices. Nobody prescribed you a Merlot. Nobody said, here you go, welcome to Vegas. I'm going to prescribe one box of red wine, and then you'll be able to sleep. He did it to himself, and either way, you get up, you rehydrate. I mean, these guys rehydrate all the time, so I don't understand what the...
So, Brendan Schwab sucks is here. That's his
there he is. Big guy, Puppy Mill.
He's only 31 minutes late.
I do have a good excuse, though.
What's that?
It's actually almost a dog ate my homework excuse, but it's actually a good one. I was out there on my tractor because apparently I'm a farmer now, and I tipped that, number one, to start. I tipped it and fell off, which isn't a good idea, but I was safe, thank God. As I was laying there, I see the neighbor's dog running. It's gotten out of their yard. I go to try to catch it because the lady's like 100 years old, asking if I can help her catch her dog and bring it back. The dog picks up my phone, which has gotten out of my pocket when I fell, and takes off with it. So
fucking Benny Hill.
It's like a really terrible Disney movie without all the support for the homosexual lifestyle. But I don't know. Disney's famous for that. So
did you catch the dog?
Yeah, I eventually got it. The lady was like, "I'm sorry, I can't catch him. He's too old." I chased that dog for probably 20 minutes, and I'm not exactly fleet of foot nowadays, as it turns out, Adam. Nor do I have good cardio. So, it took me 25 minutes to catch her dog for her finally and brought it back to her. And then I threatened her and told her I have 2 pit bulls and they'll murder her dog if they come back over. So, yeah. I mean, I said it in a nice way. But I was like, yeah, you might want to keep your dog in there. My pit bulls are really vicious. So, I also told her that my dog might impregnate her dog and she doesn't want half pit bull puppies. She thought that was odd. But
you told this old lady this after what you could rescue the dog and give it back and be like, thank you? Or
well, I had to give her some anxiety. So, I told her, the only thing I'm worried about is her getting impregnated. I said, my dog gets other dogs pregnant all the time. It's crazy. It's probably like how Don Frye's parents were when they were talking about him as a teenager. Like, keep him away from my son. You'll get pregnant. But,
they say
they all have your eyes, though.
Ironically, the dog only had one eye, and she was calling it Bisping. I couldn't figure that out.
Wow.
They say no good deed goes unpunished, but I don't think they mean you're supposed to inflict the punishment. You're just supposed to do the good deed. And then,
right.
Then he gave the dog a style bender who jerked it off. It was the whole thing came full circle.
Right.
Now, all right. where were we? All right, we're talking about Costa and Izzy. So Paulo Costa said he lost to Izzy a couple months ago because he couldn't sleep the night before. He drank a bottle of wine to help him sleep. Izzy then said, listen, just swallow your ego. You got your ass whooped. Get back to the drawing board and reassess your whole game. You can't rest on that because you'll never get far in life in this game or in this game. I think Izzy's got a point, actually. I'm not really sure you think he's telling himself that's why he lost? Or do you think he really thinks people are going to believe, oh, he drank a bottle of wine, that's why he got beat? I mean, because no one's going to believe that or care based on the performance. Sean?
I'll tell you what, man, I don't doubt he had trouble sleeping. When I fought Struve, I was under so much pressure being the co-main event that week that I didn't sleep probably 5 hours total. But I did find out that drinking wine or not sleeping does not inhibit your ability to throw a punch. So what that has to do, isn't like he gassed out in the fifth or anything like that. Like he did not engage. He wasn't there to fight. So unless alcohol causes him to be not violent, I don't know what to tell him. Because, no, he was not there to fight. I don't care how tired he was. He didn't even try. So
Don, did you ever have trouble sleeping before your fights?
Yeah. Shit. One time I had a fight over there in Japan, and my lovely ex-wife, was my wife at the time, her and my trainer took my bottle of Vicodin and my bottle of tequila away from me. And so I started going through withdrawals.
Oh.
Withdrawals, and then I was going full withdrawals during the fight. So, but of course it was my fault.
believe it or not, I've actually fought like that too. It sucks. When my doctor put me on pain medicine, I had been on it for like 3 months, and I didn't know about withdrawals. That's how naive I was. So before my last fight, I stopped taking everything, so I didn't want to test positive on a test. 2 days out, and I thought, man, this is the sickest I've ever been in my life, man. Like, I would figure before a fight I would be this sick, like throwing up, diarrhea, everything. And then come to find out it was withdrawals. And my cornerman told me afterward, hey, man, I meant to ask you if you thought maybe it was withdrawals, because if you quit taking those, you'll get really sick. And I was like, I didn't know. I'd never taken pain pills in my life before. I was like, oh, that's probably what it was then. So, yeah, that sucked.
So also another thing going on. Oh, by the way, so we talked about before that. So there's videos now of Israel Adesanya chewing his food and spitting it into his dog's mouth. And also, he also gets a new dog, and he's like, oh, this is my new dog. He has a video, and he grabs the dog's penis. We just, like, grabbed it, like, one little stroke. It wasn't, like, jerk it off, patient, but, like, that's not normal, right? I mean, I don't know anybody that grabs
Did you show him how to do it correctly?
I did not show him how to do it correctly. But I'm not sure what.
He did act it out for us a few times, though. I wish you could see this, Don. It was really special.
I don't know what he's thinking. Like, what is he thinking with this? Like, why?
I'm wondering who he's breastfeeding that caused his chest to be like that, because I know for sure that's not from steroids.
All right. Another thing going on this week. So Daniel Cormier said that John Jones' power wouldn't translate to heavyweight. He goes, he didn't knock anyone out at light heavyweight. He's not knocking anyone out at heavyweight. John Jones then posted a video of DC crying after Jones knocked him out, which he did with a head kick. And then DC responded going, there's a difference between a punch versus a kick. You're still as dumb as you've always been. You'll never surprise me. Dance for me. I can always make you move. And lastly, this fight didn't count. If you forgot, there was an issue, ... Remember, because he tested positive for steroids afterwards, so they actually took that fight off doesn't count for his record.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think of the feud, number one? And number two, do you think his power will translate to heavyweight? I'll tell you, there's videos of John Jones. He's looking like huge. He's looking very strong. He's not looking like he's fat. He's looking like he's going to be all muscle. But he has not been knocking people out at light heavyweight. That's not the way he kind of fights. And that, knocking them out with a kick isn't what they were talking about. McCorkle, what are your thoughts on this?
I don't think it matters heavyweight to light heavyweight much anyway, because most of those guys are cutting 20 or 30 pounds, so they're mostly Stipe size anyway. So that's not that much. I do think it's ironic or amazing that John Jones is able to put on muscle mass so fast. It's almost like he's found a way to beat steroid testing. It almost seems like somehow a guy that can gain 40 pounds of muscle in 3 weeks, like it's almost like he's beat the system. And if he had, it seems like there'd be traces in his system, but I've never heard of that happening at all. So, it's I heard a guy tell me one time for every test they've got for steroids, they've got a chemist who can come up with a way to beat it. So if you got enough money, you can do whatever you want. So,
Frye, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, a knockout's a knockout. I don't care if it's a hit kick or it's the fart. You knock somebody out, they're done. And John Jones, the reason he didn't knock anybody out is because nobody's been a threat to him. He goes in there and plays. He just makes shit up while he's in there. That's how unimpressed his opponents have been against him. And he hasn't been worried. So, once he gets hit by a heavyweight, it's a whole different strategy fighting a heavyweight anyways, because you sit down on your punches more so, and it's a slower moving fight, and it's all power. Whereas in the light heavyweight and below, it's movement and speed and all that good shit. So it's all a different strategy, and I think Jones will have it. I think DC, he has the opportunity to go in there and prove he's either right or wrong. Criminy. If he wants to fucking fight Jones again, he doesn't have to talk shit and get slapped, on the internet. Hell, he just called Dana White and tell him book the fight.
It's a good point. Unfortunately, I don't think DC wins that fight again. I think Jones might have his number.
But DC would be able to go up to heavyweight. In other words, he wouldn't have to cut weight, which always seems like he's one of those guys like Gastelum that it's better when they don't cut weight. Like cutting weight seems to affect guys a lot more than some guys more than others. And those are two dudes that seem to fight better when they're heavier. And I'll tell you this. The only reason John Jones never knocked anybody out of his hands is because he didn't want to. He was enjoying punching him. He was enjoying elbowing him in the face.
Damn it. That's what I just said.
I don't know.
Did you just say that?
I don't know. Those last couple fights were very close. The Dominic Reyes fight, I thought he lost. The other one, the guy with the fucking thing on his chest, the guy with the Thor hammer on his chest, I thought that was a very, very close fight too. Santos. The last couple fights have been pretty damn close. You can't say.
What's amazing about John Jones? There's some guys that you can tell they were just meant to do like one thing, in life. Like John Jones could probably not train and still beat up 99% of the guys. Like Don Frye could grow a mustache better than any of us, even if he shaved every day. And it's like, exactly. But then, guys, certain people are just meant to do one thing. It's kind of like Brendan Schaub and doing anything but comedy.
He was meant to not do one.
I could tell. Right. I could tell when Sean gets in that zone. I just know.
Yeah. Oh, he's loading it up one bullet at a time.
I saw that was coming. I saw that, of course. All right. So this week, Israel Adesanya is taking on Jan Blachowicz. Going to be a good fight. Look, I think Izzy's going to win, but Jan, I didn't think he was going to beat Jacare, Reyes, Rockhold, Corey Anderson. He's beaten a lot of really good guys. It's not like Izzy. He's beaten a lot of really good guys, actually. This could be, I don't know, man. He could be one of those dudes just when the lights shine on him is when he really performs. But I just think Izzy's on a different level. Greg?
Exact same thing. He's just on a different level. It's just one of those things when he gets in there, he finds a way to win. He's like a Patrick Mahomes type. He's going to find a way to win. And Jan Blachowicz is no Tom Brady.
Yeah, but okay, there we go. McCorkle?
Yeah, man. I'll tell you what, I don't like Adesanya. I don't like anything about him. But when he beat Robert Whittaker, even though I think Whittaker could have taken him down and beat him, but he wanted to strike with him, I believe Robert Whittaker is an amazing fighter and probably, if not the best at 185, one of the, him or Izzy. The way he beat him and the way then he beat Costa, man, you got to give the guys props. I don't know I would like to see him fight a really, really good wrestler and see if they can take him down. I just have a hard time believing his striking's so amazing they can't take him down. Like I don't understand. I've never understood these guys that aren't strikers that get in a striking battle with guys. I don't get it, you know. So.
Don?
I agree 100% with what McCorkle said. Isn't it frightening?
Yeah. Also, Megan Anderson, who was like I think a minus or a plus 750. Underdog is plus, right? A plus 750 underdog against Amanda Nunes. Man, I mean, this is one of those fights where, Nunes has beaten everybody and beaten, knocked out Cyborg and just been looking like an absolute killer. And it seems like every time Megan steps up, whether it be Kat Zingano, Felicia Spencer, Holly Holm, she loses, right? But she does have power. She does have belief. And she's got a great coach in James Krause. Can she pull it off? I don't think she will. But stranger things have happened. Sean, what happens in this fight?
Man, I've learned, because I bet a lot on UFC, and I almost always come out ahead in the end anyway, but I've learned anytime the odds start getting 5, 6, 7, 8 to 1 to go ahead and throw $100 on that fighter.
Hell
because
yeah.
If it's seven fights like that, one of them's going to be an upset. You'll get your money back. So I'm going to put $100 on and see what happens. I'm interested to see how being a new dad is going to affect Amanda Nunes. With having a daughter now or whatever. Well, she said it. She talks about her wife, so I just
what a dick.
Whatever. But yeah, I'm interested to see if that changes. Or sometimes when you have kids, your heart softens, man, and you start. I don't know. You lose that edge.
Don.
Yeah, I tell you, man. I'm going 100% with that whole theory again. Yeah.
I beat Don's joke.
All right. Now, there's the 3 title fights in this card. Aljamain Sterling versus, I don't understand, Petr Yan. This is the name PTR. Why would you just go Peter? Like, by the way.
Well, isn't that like some Russian shit or something?
Is it? I think he's maybe. Is that what it is? I don't
or
get
Eastern European spelling of it. I believe that might be the case.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
He's from Russia, so yes, it's a Russian thing.
That makes sense. Look, this guy's only lost 1 fight, which was 2016 to Magomedov.
Wait, can I just say that is like the most American tourist thing you've ever seen? Like, why can't they just spell it the normal way, like Peter? They go to Russia, they got a different word for everything.
Well, also, the fact that he loses to a guy named Magomedov, like
I didn't say they were creative.
No, you just take the last name and just take off the last 2 letters, and that's your first name. That's crazy.
Clearly, they're efficient people. They used the same name twice for that guy. They took the E out of Peter. These people are in a hurry. They just don't have time.
Yeah, it's a good point. Oh, good point. But he hasn't lost in 6 years. But I got my guy Aljamain. I do. I think he's in a zone. I think he moved to Vegas. I think he proposed to his girl. I think that change of scenery from Long Island was really good for him. I know he wrestled Roman Bravo Young, which I set up because I told him to troll on Twitter, and he did. And this guy took the bait, and everyone was like, "Roman Bravo Young's going to kill him. He's going to be teched in the first round. This guy's like ranked 3rd in the country," and it was like 7-6 or something. It was a crazy close match. I think Aljamain is right now. He found his groove, and I think he's going to win this fight. That being said, it's hard to bet against a guy who's lost 1 fight and he avenged it a year later. But I still think Aljamain's got this. Greg.
Listen, if Aljamain ever has it, this is it. I think he's on, like you said, he's on a roll. He's confident. And really, we remember interviewing him after like his first win in the UFC. And like him physically now versus him physically then is like seeing a picture of a kid when he's in high school versus when he's graduated college.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, that's the same guy? Fuck, and that's Aljamain now. Aljamain is, I think, a fully realized fighting machine. This is his best version, and this is the guy that wins or not. I think this is his best shot.
Sean, how tall were you in high school?
Depends on what year. I was probably freshman year, probably 6 foot tall, and by the end of it, 6'6" or so. So It only took me 7 years to get through school. So That would be better. But I think
you had the same. Now you had the same girlfriend all through high school.
that was off and on. That was my ex-wife. Turns out that was a great decision. But we were off and on since 5th grade. So now we're off again. Apparently.
Wait a minute. How in the 5th grade? How much of that was her choice? I'm just.
Well, I was the coolest kid in school, so like it was pretty hard to pass up. But then again, my school had like 14 people in it, so it wasn't much. But I think, man, in this fight, I think Pater's going to win. I've learned, I usually almost always. For a while, I didn't bet on Russians anymore after Rocky IV because I lost a ton of money on that. But I never bet against a Russian, man. Them dudes are different.
I gotta agree with that.
Frye.
I remember I was teaching Dolph Lundgren his lines for the MMA awards, and I'm like, I did the joke, I must break you, and he got it wrong. He was like, I must beat you. I'm like, no, it's I must break you. He's like, oh yeah, like. Yeah, I'm like, that's your line. It's
like the most famous thing you've ever said.
It was crazy.
He's like, if he lives, he dies.
Don, how old were you when you lost your virginity?
I'm still hanging on to it, It's something that's very important to me, and I think I'm gonna keep it forever.
Don, I don't think he was talking about your anal virginity. He meant with a woman.
Yeah, with a woman. Don, let me guess, Don. It must have been junior year of high school.
Shit. Partner, I don't even remember. Criminy.
Where were you?
In a pickup truck.
Shocking.
All right, you're in a pickup truck.
I think that answer could apply to a lot of questions about Don's life.
Was it you in the back of the pickup truck, or were you in the front seat?
Shit. I was in the front seat.
Okay, so it was like
he was in the back. It was weird.
I'm not uncultured here now. Come on.
God, of course.
Exactly. They weren't in some field. They were in the parking lot of a Walmart because he's a fucking gentleman.
And now, Don, this was your girlfriend or just a random girl or what?
Is your mama?
Oh.
I knew that was coming. I was just mad at when. All right, so it was a high school sweetheart. You had just won a wrestling match or something, right? And you were celebrating.
It was a wrestling match. What are you talking about, man? Come easy.
Did you last long, or was it a pump shoulder?
A microsecond's a lifetime, in a fly's life, right?
What did he say?
What? I didn't catch it. I think I believe he said he's got a rise one, the prize one, right? And that's what I heard.
Greg, how old were you when you lost virginity?
I think I was 17. It was the first weekend of college.
Wow.
And I thought he was asking Greg Frye.
And it was just actually I was asking Greg. And then it was a random girl or girlfriend?
No, it was a girl that we'd had like a long distance relationship going, like a bit of my senior year. And then first year weekend of college. What's that?
It was phone sex.
For a while.
Phone sex.
I lost the phone sex. No, that weekend we made contact.
He got interrupted with call waiting. Dude, mine was like.
Greg's like, it's a threesome. I got somebody clicking in.
Yeah.
Dude, I was like,
no, Mom, I'm on the phone. Hang it up. Hold on.
I was a junior in high school. It was a girl I worked with at Kenny Rogers Chicken.
That sounds right.
I was a chicken cutter, and I think she was like she worked the sides, like the side dishes, and then I took her home. She was like this Mexican girl, a Puerto Rican. I didn't know what. I was just so sick of being made fun of for being a virgin because all the kids called me like captain of the V team, like the V club at my boarding school.
Nice.
So I didn't know. I took her home. I put her legs over my head because I just watched over her head. I just watched a lot of porn, and then she queefed. But I never heard a queef before, and I was like, "Was that you or me?" And then she said it was her, and then I just like put it in, and I didn't last very long. It wasn't that memorable, to be honest. except for the fact that I got it done. Yeah. All right.
And to this day, Adam still has no contact with his son. It's weird.
All right. So Drew Dober versus Islam Makhachev. Islam hasn't lost in 6 years. Drew, he's Khabib's friend. I like Drew Dober a lot. I think he's from Nebraska. He's a good fighter, but I don't see him beating this dude. This dude's a fucking killer. I feel like Khabib's whole crew is a bunch of killers. Like him and his friend. And then Santos, the guy who just is coming off a loss to Glover. I think he's got tired in that fight. He lost to John Jones. But before that, he beat Jimmy Manuwa, Eric Anders. He beat Jan Blachowicz. He beat Kevin Holland. He's the guy with the thing on his chest. He's fighting this guy, Ratchik, who just beat Anthony Smith. This should be a good fight. This should be a really good fight. And then Dominic Cruz is on the card. Cruz says he doesn't care he's fighting on the undercard because he says more people watch that anyway, and he's getting paid the same. Now, I love Dominic Cruz. I went down to San Diego to direct him in that video, the BTS, where he was the K-pop band. And he says to me, Adam, I don't find this funny. I don't want to be here, but I told you I would do it. Just direct me. Let's get this over with. I'm like,
that was what it sounded like when I lost my virginity.
I was like, Dom, we're off to a great start. He complained the entire time, and I loved him for it. Dominic Cruz is like, he was born like a 90-year-old like curmudgeon. Like he's like he's great. He tells you exactly what's on his mind. He doesn't give a fuck. He's fighting the kid Casey Kenny from Arizona, who only has I think 2 or 3 losses. He lost to Marab, who's really good. He beat Ray Borg, Brendan Royval, beat Louis Smoka and Nathaniel Wood. I don't know. He got in trouble because he said something about what's her name, Megan Anderson. He said I wouldn't kick her out of bed at 3 a.m. or something, and she got pissed at him for saying that because they asked him on a podcast if he would bang her or something. But who do we like in this fight, Dominic Cruz or Casey Kenny? It's a case of like Dominic Cruz is a veteran. He's still hungry. You know, he's kind of has a chip on his shoulder. Casey Kenny has like no mileage, but Dominic Cruz has fought a lot better guys. I mean, a lot better guys. And he's been here before. McCorkle, who wins this fight?
Man, I don't know. I think he looked pretty much done in his last fight. I'm wondering, I don't know if you guys have heard, there's a rumor going around about Dominic Cruz. Like, I don't know if you guys have heard it. I wonder if it's going to be a distraction this week. Rumor has it a week or so ago, someone spotted him coming out of a straight bar. And he was like, there's no way in hell he goes in straight bars. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think no, but I'll say Cruz loses this one. I don't know. I just think sometimes that age is a bitch, man. Sometimes guys age overnight.
Dude, he's banged some of the hottest one I've ever seen in my life.
Allegedly.
No, I think allegedly. All right, Don Frye.
Did you lose a girl to him or something?
No, I guess,
like you had your eye on a girl, Dominic left with her, and now that guy, that's it.
There's I don't know, man. There's kind of like an old rule amongst me and my friends is when a guy talks too much about women, like there was a certain UFC announcer, I don't want to name any names, but every time I see him, every time I see him, he's like, I'd love to stay and talk, but I've got like 6 bitches waiting in my room, so I got to go. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we've all been there. Like, listen, I'll tell you what, I love titties. That's what I love, right, guys? That's what us guys like. We like titties and pussy, right, guys? Like, when anybody starts doing that, I always start to wonder. Plus, I think everybody's gay all the time except Don Frye.
Don, who do we like in this fight, Casey Kenny or Dominic Cruz?
Oh, hell. I go with the young kid. You know, let's see what he's got. Cruz hasn't been looking very good in the last decade. So, I think Father Time is past.
Now, there's a rumor that you were sparring with Dominic Cruz, and they said, all right, just hands only, light sparring, and then you kicked him in the head and then said, always be ready. Is that is that true?
Please let it be true.
If I can kick you in the head, then your time is up, you know.
Well, I mean, the kick was still below your waist, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Don, I got to ask, before you got cut off the 8th time this podcast, I used to train over at a gym in Hollywood called Fortune's Gym. And they said you would go there a couple days a week and roll with like a broken back. Your back was completely broken and you were still training. Is that true?
Yeah, because that's how dumb I am. I said broken rods. The rods were broken. My back was broke. And so I didn't know it. That's how dumb I was. I finally got to see the doctor like about a year later. And, you know, he took x-rays and he said, well, there's the problem there, dumbass. You broke the rods. You know?
Wow. I mean, now you're training with a broken back. Does it just kill or you just ignore the pain? How do you deal with that kind of pain?
I just got used to it, you know. I mean, like I said, I didn't know. I couldn't figure out what the problem was because I had the surgery. You know, I'd already had I think 7 surgeries at that point, you know, and there was no reason for it to be hurting. So, I didn't want to bitch about it.
Wow. McCorkle, did you have that problem too or no?
Yeah, I mean, when your back hurts probably as bad as Don did or mine did, after a while you adjust. You really do. You just live with it. It's just a constant pain, you know, in your back. Yeah. I saw a video where Don was talking about that the other day. As God is my witness, they asked him about Mark Kerr, and he said, yeah, he's a dick. I don't like him. Then Don drank from a horse trough and spit it out and continued telling the story, and it blew my mind. That was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Now, Don, I went to Tom Galicchio's wedding, and Dan Henderson was there. Me and Henderson hung out. We had a great time. And I said, I got a new podcast. I do a podcast with Don Frye. And he goes, I love Don Frye. We went on this military tour. We had a great time. And then he said he didn't like me. He said I was an asshole. Why don't you like Hendo?
I do like Hendo, but shit, everybody else is in line kissing his ass. So somebody's got to give the guy shit, or else, you know, or else he won't remember he's human.
There you go.
I think he's a good guy.
But he thinks you don't like him. He didn't know that you only did that because everyone was kissing his ass. He literally was like, I don't know why. We had a great time together, and he all of a sudden said I was a piece of shit. You said that just because everyone's being nice to him?
I didn't say he's a piece of shit. I said he's an asshole.
Okay. All right. So
I wouldn't give fucking 2 pennies for a fighter who was not an asshole. I mean, you don't have to take it to the extreme like Brock Lesnar, you know, and do it to everybody outside the ring. But god dang, you've got to be an asshole inside the ring, or else you know you're just gonna rack up the losses.
Right, and that's true. That's a good point. So also on this card, Kyler Phillips, we had him on the podcast. Nice guy, young, hungry guy. He's fighting Yadong Song, who his nickname is
Song Yadong.
Song Yadong.
Song.
Yeah, he's Song Yadong. His nickname is Kung Fu Monkey. He beat.
I got a song about my dong too.
What's it called? Never been used.
It's called a pickup truck in a parking lot.
Your mom misses me, cries herself to sleep every night.
Of course, she does that. Of course she does. We're now doing your mama jokes. All right, so.
Well, one of us is.
So, good point. Also, Benavidez is fighting Askay Askara. This guy, Askay, is undefeated. I think he has 1 draw. They're just not giving Benavidez the easy fight. I mean, they're just like, fuck. Just give the guy, he's on his way out. I like Benavidez, but come on. Give the guy 1 easy fight. Also on the card, Sean Brady, who's 13-0, is fighting Jake Matthews, Celtic kid. It should be a good fight. Both those guys are really good. Then Tim Elliott's fighting on this card, as well as Levano Souza, who's 14-2, taking on Amanda Lemos. The whole card is really good. It's actually a really, really good card.
Yeah, even these early prelims are pretty damn good.
Yeah, 1,000%. So, all right. So what do we got coming up?
I think I'm going with you to do some gig this evening, right? We're doing something?
Yes, we're doing a gig.
So
we're doing a gig tonight in Santa And then what else? And then where can people see your show?
Oh, The Neighborhood on CBS. I think it's on Tuesdays, maybe Thursdays. I don't really, I don't know.
All right. And then Don,
What
what
are
do you
you,
got?
Bellator?
We move around the schedule. All I know is it's on a lot.
Okay. And then what do you got coming up?
Oh, by the way, I did recently book my first return to stand-up dates in April. I think it's like 2 and 3. I'm going to be in Phoenix at the Stir Crazy. And then the next week, the 5th through the 11th, I will be at the LA Comedy Club in Vegas.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And then you, Sean?
Nothing. Again, I've got nothing going on. So.
And then Don, what do you got coming up?
I'm gonna watch Sean go breed his pit bulls in the barn. It's a good entertaining evening, and it's always good. It brings me back to when I lost my virginity.
To a dog in a barn.
Yes.
All right, thank you. And then
we got 3 shows. We got 3 shows in the can already, and we're just getting them cleaned up so that we can start putting them out.
Your new podcast.
Yes, my podcast.
Nice. And then you can watch my special, Throwing Punches, on UFC Fight Pass. I'm also going to be in Las Vegas. I'm going to be in Arizona on the 13th. I have a show in Gilbert, Arizona, March 13th, as well as the House of Phoenix Comedy in Phoenix, March 25th to the 28th, and April 2nd and 3rd, I'm at the Comedy Catch in Chattanooga. So thank you guys so much. You guys rule. Have a great week, guys.
Thanks, man. See you guys.
Take care, buddy. Good stuff.